If you lead with the bandwidth discussion, it is hard to get the conversation. Do you know why? Because there's 3 calls they hate every day. So stop making them. Don't call me about new life insurance. Don't call me about changing my credit card processing. And don't call me about my bandwidth. As a business owner, I get those all the time, and I hang up on those people. But if you can come in with solutions, you can come in with other things, you can come in with the tip of the spear being something else, you have a chance to win all of it. You know what UDK, where we started the conversation? Office 365. Do you know how much money you can make in Office 365? Diddly squat. I know, that's very scientific. It's actually about 4 to 7%. You're not going to make any money on the licensing with Office 365. But it started a conversation, and that led to, but we also need this, and we're thinking about this, and we have virtualization, and we have da-da-da, and we have cloud, and we have bandwidth, and we did. And you know what? It's a huge opportunity. And the conversation started with, no, not bandwidth. Heaven forbid, we would never have gotten the conversation. It usually can't start with there. It ought to be someplace you get to before you're done, but it really can't start there. It really cannot. Now again, hope you don't find that offensive. That's just what we're finding out in the market. If it starts somewhere else, you're going to get it. Okay? Still trying to replace Giambi. It's not a one-for-one shift. I've lost a whole line of business. I'm not going to find a new whole other line of business. What can I do? I can go deeper. I can go wider. I did that opposite. Didn't mean to. I can go deeper. I can go wider. I can find other products. I can find other services. I can find other ways to make recurring revenue. Maybe it's through selling hosted seats of some manufacturer. Jive, Call Tower, Link, somebody. Maybe it's through tools like ours. It's only $150 a month. Why not add it on every single company? We're actually kind of cheap and easy. We're all about the money. We already told you that. It's got to be some other things. We've got to think differently. We've got to do it differently. We go to a lot of value-added resellers and managed service providers who've been afraid to have the bandwidth conversation. Do you know why? Because bandwidth's embarrassed them in the past. Not joking. I go to sell a phone system, then suddenly the circuit doesn't cut over on time. Then all of a sudden the port goes shabby. And the next thing I know, we blow the whole thing up and we go with somebody else. And so I've decided I'm not going to have that conversation anymore because I can't afford to lose this while I have this. And you know what I'm telling value-added resellers across the country, managed service providers? If you're afraid to have the bandwidth conversation, we probably can't be friends either. Because we need you to have all of the conversations all the time. And so if they've been afraid of it, stop being afraid of it. And so Americom, who's in the room, had kind of stayed away from that conversation for the last couple of years. And paired up with Mike, they've added $10 million to their pipeline of potential recurring revenue bandwidth by just talking to their friends and family. They've had relationships with all these years with these companies, and now they're willing, because they trust Tolaris and Mike as a partner, to have that conversation. There is a boatload of money out there for these people who've been afraid to have that conversation, who are now willing, and we not only encourage them to have it, we tell them if they don't have that conversation, they're just being dumb. Okay? So, and then that scout down front, love that guy. You're not buying into this Bill James crap, are you? Yeah, we are. Microsoft isn't even a phone system. I mean, Link's legit, but they came in through the side door. It was a little bit like, Stacy maybe appreciate this. I go to the store and I'm trying to buy this pair of pants. I'm looking at it and I say, I don't know if it looks very good. And the sales clerk, if they're any good at all, what are they going to say? Of course they're going to say it looks great, but what do they want me to do? They want me to put it on. Because if I put it on, the chances of me walking out with it are just far higher, right? And then they have those fake mirrors that make you look great. You get home, you go, was I that fat earlier? Wow, what happened? Right? Microsoft did the same thing. They already won Exchange, Link licenses built in, and then they said, just try it on. See if you like it. Well, I did. I tried it in 2007 and OCX was garbage. Yeah, you're right. And then I tried 2010 and it still wasn't quite there. Yeah, you're right. But try 2013. It's really good. And you know what the truth is? It is really good. And so this idea, it's a little bit like being in the store. Just try it on. And you know what? We find out for a lot of companies it actually fits this time. They didn't get any skinnier, by the way. It just happens to fit this time. Product got better. Product got better. And it's one of the greatest Trojan horse place ever. But what if it's not these guys? What if it's these guys or these guys? We have to realize that the world has changed. And it can't be about the old manufacturers. It's going to be about something new. So how are you going to play in this world? Well, we don't have time to talk about all of this. And you didn't come for a commercial on us anyway. But let me just tell you at the core of it, better analytics means better conversations. And so we have some basic modules. Our analytics module called VX Tracker that grabs call detail records from any phone system and hybrid phone systems across the board. We're able to pull all that data in, and we're able to figure out who you're calling, when they're calling, how long they're talking. You can almost run your whole business off of these analytics because it gives you a sense of, are we doing the right kinds of things? And if we're doing the right kinds of things, then we know how to make more money, we know how to motivate our employees, we know how to kind of correct behavior if it's incorrect. All of that stuff comes from call analytics. And call analytics that used to be about, saving a few bucks on long distance, nobody cares about that anymore. They care about, are they running their business the right way? And everybody we talk to cares about this. And this right here is the reason why we're meeting with Amazon on Monday, because they're trying to figure out their analytics. Fascinating, okay? We have a mobile play. That means we grab call detail records from the major cell phone carriers, and we can pull that into that same analytics engine, and then be able to understand, does Patrick make more phone calls from his cell phone than he does from his desk phone? And if he makes most of his calls from his desk phone, or cell phone, does he actually need a desk phone? And if I'm buying a new phone system, why would I put a $400 desk set on Doug's desk if Doug never uses it? If he always uses his cell phone or his soft phone, why would I ever waste that hardware money, right? And so now I can start to get a bigger picture of what's going on. And then we have a recording piece and then a diagnostics piece called Call VX Pulse. I'll show you that in a second. And then all of that data can be rolled up into a dashboard to really get a big picture view of all of those pieces. Okay? So here's what's wrong, again, and I know there's like 2 minutes, and I'm aware, and I'll be there, I promise. So watch this. Here's what's wrong with our industry. We put in a lot of technology without ever deciding if it's going to work before we put it in anyway. We just put it in and take a shot at it. Okay? Our tool lets you pre-assess, determine if the technology is really ready, then monitor and fix as we introduce new variables into the ecosystem. And that's what, by the way, new variables are always going to break stuff or change things. You've got to monitor and fix, protect that quality of user experience, and then take credit. And I'll talk about that at the very end. So pre-assessment, what does that mean? Well, we have the ability, just as a quick example, to deploy our technology on a network-wide area or local area network and run test calls back and forth before we deploy the new phone system to see if they're ready, or the new video conferencing system, see if they're ready. Foot Locker is a client of a partner of ours. They put this stuff in, VX Suite. They measured it for about 14 minutes and figured out that their network wasn't ready. They had some server problems and quality of service wasn't tagged right in the routers. What would have happened if they'd have put the phone system in before doing the testing? Would have been a total failure. And what would people say? Your phone system stinks. And by extension, you stink. And if you stink enough, get out. Right? That's what happens. Okay? Ran it for 14 minutes. Found out there was a whole bunch of problems. They took 30 days and fixed those problems. And when they were done, they deployed almost flawlessly, pretty smoothly. And Foot Locker calls back and says, okay, what about the rest of our 90 locations? Can we do that? By pre-assessing whether the environment was ready for the technology, they won the whole deal. But the old way was, we put it out there and then we marshal all of our troops to fix all the problems as fast as we can before the customer gets so angry that they're tired of us. That's what everybody else is doing. Want a differentiator? How about pre-assess? Okay? Monitor and fix, obviously I said it. As soon as you introduce a new set of variables into an ecosystem, you're going to have problems. There's going to be things that come up, but you have the ability to monitor and fix and change those things. And we alert and alarm, and we can do all kinds of things technically that we could talk about. Tyler's seen our stuff. We can walk through some of those pieces, but measure delay, jitter, loss, all those things. Yeah, great. Okay? And then protect the quality of the user experience. It really doesn't matter how great your stuff is if the users are having a bad experience. Again, if the road's windy and you make it feel smooth, you win. If it feels windy, you lose. So you got to protect that user experience. And then finally, take credit. One of the problems with manufacturers, value-added resellers, managed service providers, they never take any credit for all the good stuff they do. So then it comes time for a maintenance renewal, and they're like, yeah, we haven't had any problems. We don't need you anymore. Baloney. I'm the reason why you don't have any problems. And so as we kind of wrap up this, I need to say that some of the things that our partners have come to us and said, yeah, but Doug, I don't have a BroadSoft engineer. That's okay, because we built a practice called VX SWAT, where we have all kinds of technical resources that people can use. And they white label them, and brand is the partner, and go in. So as your Teleris ecosystem, if you're talking to people and they're like, yeah, I've got a really cool opportunity, but they need a guy who knows Avaya and Link, say, I know somebody who knows those guys. That's us. We've got a whole bench full of these people who are great at it, and you just hire them as you need them. Some of our partners have said, we like hosted phone systems, but we want to step into Link. So we have partnered with a hosted Link provider. Easy way to step into the Link world. And the truth of the matter is, the biggest lesson from Moneyball is the world's going to be a hybrid world in the future. It already is. And it's going to be keep my old Avaya infrastructure like waste management, but add Link on top of it. Or keep my ShoreTel, because that's what the front desk lady really likes to use to drag and drop calls and all that stuff, but I want to layer on something else. And by the way, this could have said Google and Amazon and whatever else is below that, right? It doesn't just have to be Link. It's going to be a hybrid world, and in that hybrid world, you need tools that can handle the hybrid. Okay? So then, I'm not 100% Apple guy, but one of the things I love about the way Apple does it is there's no manuals, right? Because the stuff's so easy to use. And they did it on purpose. And I ask you, are your technology deployments easy enough that people just say that was smooth and easy and a piece of cake? Most of the time, no. Our goal is to get to the point where they're that easy and that smooth. Maybe by doing some pre-assessment, maybe by being really ready to do it. And if you can take this crazy, windy, dangerous, difficult road and make it look like this, help the customers talk to who they want, when they want, on the device they want, and make it a seamless, good user experience, that's the partners that win. Mike Leavitt, former governor of this state, nobody cares about that outside this state, but head of Health and Human Services, head of EPA. I worked with him all the time on some healthcare projects. He used to say all the time, there's money in clarity. That's just like that 4 out of 5 don't know what they're doing. If you can bring clarity, there's a lot of money in clarity. And by the way, all of us were the 2006 Man of the Year because they awarded it to you. Yeah, all of us that participate in this information age. Everybody who takes the ability, and again, it's my presentation, so it's my definition, all of us that make it so that we can talk to who we want, when we want, on the device we want, and make it seamless, means that all of us are the Time Magazine 2006 Person of the Year. And so congratulations to all of you. And by the way, if you change your LinkedIn profile to say it like I have, you're going to look a little bit like a weirdo, because I did it first. So I'm sorry. You wish you'd have thought of it too, I know, but whatever. How do you find out more? The technology we dive into every Tuesday and Thursday, you go to this site, ReadyTalk.com, and we do a technical deep dive on the products, okay? If you want to plug anybody into those, they can just register and plug in. Ron Campbell is the channel manager for this area, and he just left because he was sitting there all day in his coat that's made out of, I kid you not, fireman hose material. That's what that coat was made out of. I know, it's weird. And he got a little itch, and he had to get home to Washington. So, but Ron's your channel manager. We're happy to do Triumph Eyes. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I wish that Patrick's intro had gone about 10 minutes shorter and I'd have been done right on time. So I blame him completely. But I want you to know that I do believe that all of us can be the 2006 Man of the Year. By doing what? By helping people make the technology so easy that they can talk to who they want, when they want, on the device they want, and that they have a good user experience out of that. The companies that do that are going to win this game. The companies that are still kind of protecting their old territory or doing it the old way are going to lose. I believe you can all be part of the winning team. VX Suite can help you make that happen. So thank you very much. It's been good to be with you, Patrick.